Hello, everybody. I'm Richard Leake, along with Army Armstrong, and we are in Bowling Green, Ohio, for the granddaddy of them all, the National Tractor Pulling Championship.
Richard, this evening we're going to be going with the mini power rods. You know, they generate at only 1,600 pounds of weight, 2,000 horsepower. So power-to-weight ratio is phenomenal. Mother Nature may be the one we're going to keep an eye open for this evening, however.
Well, of course, we have had enormous amount of rains here in Bowling Green the last few days. The skies are clearing up now, but that means track conditions are going to be important this afternoon.
As the Northwest Ohio Tractor Pulling Club works on the track, as we're speaking here, the drivers are all studying the track as hard as they can. The hard is a trick word. The track is slick hard. They're going to have a little bit of problem getting bite on the starting line.
All right, so that's a factor we're going to have to keep our eyes on, track conditions. We're going to be back with first-round competition here in just a moment from Bowling Green, Ohio on ESPN. I'm going to be topside. Once again, Army Armstrong, you're going to be down on the track.
Plenty of action down trackside, Richard, as we're getting ready to set up the first puller in the 1,650-pound power rod division. These vehicles, kind of interesting, they'll generate wheel speed over 160 miles an hour and an awesome 2,000 horsepower to be competitive on the Red Man Points Tour. Plenty of people coming around as Bowling Green, as we've explained before, is a happening. In its 22nd year, everybody comes to Bowling Green to see the best in this sport.
Now, a question I have is about track conditions. We've had a lot of rain in Bowling Green. What is going to be done, and how effective will this track be early?
The track will be back around. The early pulls we don't know about, but members of the Northwest Ohio Tractor Pullers Association have cut 6 inches of top clay off. They're ready to go. Ronnie Huffman, representing the state of Pennsylvania, will be the first out.
All right, Ronnie out of Greencastle, Pennsylvania. He'll be driving Instigator 1, an awesome-looking machine, and he's off and running, our first competitor out of the chute.
All the drivers are watching Ronnie as he rolls on the starting line. A little bit late on the start, but he develops a lot of ground speed on the end. It looks like the track is going to be good, Richard.
All right, Ronnie about ready to shut it down at a distance of 271 feet, 9 inches. Not bad, first time out. And that brings to the line a real inspirational story. Larry Kester out of St. Wendell, Indiana.
Southern Indiana native really has a story to tell. He was involved in a farm tractor accident a few years ago and lost both of his legs, but he won't quit. The attitude is very positive. He believes he can be competitive, and he shows it right here. He came to do battle in Bowling Green.
Larry Kester, with a pulling distance of 256 feet, 5 inches. As a matter of fact, Larry kind of makes light of his handicap in a way. He named his vehicle Footloose. And, Army, you spent some time earlier this afternoon with Larry Kester here in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Larry, first of all, we want to welcome you to this tremendous event in Bowling Green, Ohio. Appreciate you coming over and competing with us. What can we look for as far as competition tonight?
Well, I'm planning on taking it out to the end. That's my whole ambition, is to win this thing tonight. But we got some stiff competition. There's about the best, the best guys around. But hey, we come here to win. That's my whole ambition, to be number one.
What about your wife's involvement in the sport? I know you got to have a tremendous amount of family support. Could you give us a little information there?
Well, when I got hurt, my wife was with me the whole 4 months every day for the whole period of time. What more could I say? My whole family was there, friends. If it wouldn't have been for the support of my wife and family, it wouldn't have been as much of a drive to go. But when you've got people like that, you can't let them down. Plus, I've got 2 little kids, and I want them to think their daddy is pretty important.
So motorsports kind of creates strange bedfellows. Place right here, a young man involved in tremendous accident. A lot of people would have quit. With the support of his family, he stays after it. Teamed up with another fellow named Larry, or Buckwheat, as they call him on the sprint car circuit. They're competitive, they're tough, and they're going straight to the top of this competition.
Well, Larry Kester may not be a winner tonight on a track, but he is certainly a winner in life. And we're ready for our third competitor tonight. It is Rod Crooks out of Zanesville, Ohio. And, Army, an interesting way they crank these mini-powered rods.
What they do, it's kind of, if you've ever been to the sport of drag racing, they do the same thing with the funny cars. They actually stick the starter on the front of the supercharger. Supercharger being the big windmill type piece of equipment that sits on top of the tractor. Remember, 160 mile an hour wheel speed, trying to go on the other side at 271. The Pepsi generation looking good, Richard. Ground speed looks to be there.
Rod Crooks out of Zanesville, Ohio, about ready to shut her down as the wheels begin to bog down. Doesn't look like it's going to be near enough to take the lead. It is not at 229 feet. Coming to the line next, Randy Height. He will be driving the Richard Peters machine, the Buckeye Special. Richard, that racing team out of Thornville, Ohio, but Randy Heights behind the wheel.
Height and Peters teamed up. Now, they're notorious for having a lot of ground speed. However, mid-track, the horsepower seems to be there. The ground speed's not exactly what he wants. The first puller looks like he's going to dodge a bullet, stay in the lead, Richard.
He certainly has. 236 feet 5 inches for the Heights Peters team. And that brings to the line out of Dubuque, Iowa, and Fantasy 2, a real veteran of the circuit. This is Max Smith.
Max Smith going kind of in the middle of the field, kind of one of the old pros. We're watching him. The front end is the all-important part of the vehicle. You notice the left front wheel has not touched the ground since he left the starting line, Richard. He's starting to put the horsepower to the ground.
But just not enough horsepower as he shuts it down.
Richard, I tell you, we've got some problems. We're going to go check it out trackside.
All right, it looks like he had to shut that vehicle down. A pulling distance of only 182 feet 9 inches. Possible problems on the Max Smith machine. Here's Army.
He seemed to take an awfully wild ride out there, but there was some heads-up driving. What exactly happened on the end of that run?
Well, at the end of the run, my throttle stuck. It isn't the way I like to drive, and but it's just something that happened tonight. I wasn't getting the bite, and at the end, the throttle stuck and made it look that much worse.
How did you shut the tractor off?
I turned behind me, and I pulled the kill switch myself behind the seat.
Max doing some heads-up driving, saved a lot of equipment.
All right, that brings to the line Denny Horst out of Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, Dutch country. He's driving the Red Fox machine.
The Red Fox may be trying to outfox everybody. He comes out, takes a new groove, goes to the right side of the track, and look at the front end, Richard. He's balanced perfect. Wheels up about 1.5 feet off the ground. It looks like we're going to have a new leader.
It not only looks that way to you, the crowd thinks that way also, and we do. Denny Horst has taken the lead from Ronnie Hoffman. Let's go trackside. Army's got him now.
We've got a new leader, ladies and gentlemen, Denny Horst. Denny, we noticed you came off the right side of the track.
Yeah, I checked the track there, and it seemed to be just a little bit softer for the tire to get a hold, opposed to the left side. It seemed to be getting rather hard.
We also noticed the weight on the tractor looked awfully good. You carried the front wheels maybe a foot and a half off, but had a tremendous amount of ground speed. Now, do you think a lot of the rest of the pullers in the class, we still have about 15 left, are going to follow your lead?
Very much so. You can study the previous pullers, and you need to get the front end up to get it moving. I had a little control problem. I had to use the left brake real bad there at about 100 foot, but they get the front end up and pick the right spot on the track, somebody will get her out the end.
Right now, Denny's done everything he can do. He's got to go back in the pit area and watch everybody take a shot at him. Back to you, Rich.
All right, Army, so already we're not even halfway through the competition. Already 2 lead changes. Denny Horst is your current leader. And, you know, fans come from across the entire country to Bowling Green this time of year. It's a very special time of the year.
You know, over 70,000 people will enjoy the 3 days of competition held here in this beautiful Ohio community. They're from all over the country. A lot of the Canadian people come in. You know, as you know very well, I've been in motorsports many years of my life, but when I came into these fairgrounds, there was something special. It's called Bowling Green. Anybody who's been in the sport says it's special, and believe me, it is.
Well, you're seeing now some videotaped highlights of some opening ceremonies. Certainly an international flavor as you're about to hear the Canadian national anthem sung, as we have quite a few Canadians that come down not only to compete but also to watch this competition. And Army, a lot of families across America make their vacation plans for this time of the year to be here at the National Pulling Championships. And we're going to be back here with more of the mini-powered rods in just a moment from Bowling Green, Ohio. Along with Army Armstrong trackside, we've established a new leader in this mini-rod competition. Denny Horst out of Pennsylvania is your leader, but here comes Stephen Doherty to the line. Stephen out of Ravenna, New York in the Precious Gym.
Out of the great state of New York, the Precious Gym starts to roll. The ground speed looks to be good. Now, while we're watching, we talked a moment ago about that left front tire. You'll watch it, it'll stay off the ground. That's the result of the torque of the engine. A running engine has a tendency to turn to the right. It's called torque, and that's what it looks like.
And a great pull for Stephen Doherty. We have got a new leader, 298 feet. Let's go trackside with Army.
Steve, what size engine you running on this power rod?
I run a 512 Rodax.
How did you feel the track out there tonight? We were on the far end. It sounded like you were thundering all the way through. Is there a good part and a bad part to that pulling track?
You just kind of have to feel it out and give it the power when the track can take it.
Steve's on top right now, but they're still coming after him, one after one. They're stretching out that lead distance in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Oh, one thing has come to play here, a fact that we mentioned earlier, Army. The track is starting to come around a little bit. the distance is getting a lot further, as that brings to the line Nordy Wenham out of Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, and the Agitator tractor.
The Agitator out of Wisconsin. We keep an eye on the driver. Everybody's watching the weight. You notice the right hand's on the throttle, left hand's on the steering wheel, and he is working that tractor violently. A good run, good ground speed, and immediately he hooks it on the end of the track.
Shutting it down after a pulling distance of 281 feet 4 inches, that's Nordy Wenham out of Wisconsin. Not a bad pull. As a matter of fact, you see his hands are raised. That is a signal to the officials, the Redman TNT officials, that they can unhook the sled and push it back for our next competitor, which is going to be Roger Weissong.
You know something we better watch out for, Richard? The end of the track. The puller in front of this one had a real violent hook to the left. Let's see what the Sting is going to do. And he looks like he's got a great run going. Wheels up, good ground speed. Let's watch the finish line. Looks real strong, and then he hits the 280-foot mark, and it hooked on him real bad, Richard.
And Roger Weissong shuts it down, a great pull of 290 feet 4 inches. As a matter of fact, Army, if he had not have hooked it about the same area, it looked like Nordy Wenham hooked his tractor, we probably would have had a new leader. Let's go down trackside, Army. Armstrong has Roger now.
Roger Weissong goes to 2904.2. That looks like it's going to put him in the number 2 spot. Now, Roger, your current leader, we were talking to Steve a moment ago. He said the weight is so important out there tonight. The one thing you all had in common, both of you carried the front end about a foot off the ground. Is it that important with this class? Yeah, it's real important, but I think maybe I might have had mine just a little bit too light. It hurt me. I had to use the brakes quite a bit. If you had to do it over again, what change would you make? About another 20 on the front, so I wouldn't have to use them as hard. I think I could have come on through. Well, the track definitely looks like it's coming around. The original puller said it would get better. It didn't look that way, and I believe that's the way it's going to turn out.
So Stephen Doherty remains our leader with a pulling distance of 298 feet 9 inches. That brings to the line Terry Kirshner. Terry's out of Greencastle, Pennsylvania. He's in the Instigator 1 tractor.
Terry looks like he's going to choose that right side of the track, Rickard. It looks like it's the place to work. Wheels look good. Engines making some horsepower. They know they can put it to the ground, but where can they hold the horsepower? What's happening to the track? That's the question this late in the field.
Well, a great-looking tractor for Terry Kirshner, but not a great pulling distance. 248 feet 4 inches is not going to win the competition tonight here in Bowling Green.
No, I tell you what, Richard, and the people are really enjoying the competition. These tractors are basically just a step up from the garden tractors that so many people grew up on, but believe me, just a step up, it's a big step.
And let's find out more about these awesome powered machines.
A lot of people around the country ask, just what is a mini power rod? It's a little stick of dynamite. It's exactly what it is. The vehicles run special cut tires built in California by Dick Stepek. They'll be spinning them in excess of 160 miles an hour. 4130 chromoly tubing, just like the big brothers on the NASCAR circuit, NHRA Racing. Same safety features. Speaking of safety features, this particular class runs a full roll cage. The driver has to sit behind the steering wheel completely strapped in. The reason being they are so quick that they can dart left and right instantly. You move on up, have a special gearbox to transfer the awesome horsepower from the front to the big rear tires we were just speaking about. In this case, 512 cubic inch Rodeck aluminum engine. Sitting at the top of it, a 1471 supercharger. On top of that, an injection system using alcohol for fuel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like horsepower, you will not find any more horsepower, any motorsport in America than a mini power rod. You love the awesome horsepower, the left and right, wild action. You need to be sitting in the grandstands when these rascals run.
Well, I'll tell you what, here in Bowling Green tonight, Army, the fans have really enjoyed the awesome power. As coming to the line now, your defending national champion, that is Glenn Gunther. He's out of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, driving tough enough, and I'll tell you what, he is a dandy of a driver.
He's also a tremendous chassis builder. We explained a few moments ago about what a power rod is. He actually owns a company called Precision Engineering, and a lot of these fellows competing this evening are using his chassis. As you said, tough enough. Defending national champion, would love to make it 2 in a row. Take the first place prize back to Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Let's see if this youngster can do it.
Well, he is going up against a distance of 298 feet 9 inches that Stephen Doherty has. Stephen, your current leader in the precious gym machine, but tough enough is off and rolling.
Gunther, a horse. Let's watch him straight as an arrow. The front end is not coming up, Richard. Now it starts to bounce a little bit, but he's not powering it up. Let's see what happens around the 280.
He also kicks a little to the left. As a matter of fact, about the same distance a couple of other drivers had problems. Glenn Gunther will not win the national championship tonight, a pulling distance of 290 feet, 8 inches. Let's go trackside. Army's got Glenn now to find out what happened.
defending champion, Glenn Gunther out of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, one of the premier chassis builders in the sport. Glenn, we just received word you went into the number 2 spot. If you had to make any changes now, what would they be?
Well, I would move weight to the back to get a little better start out of the hole, so to speak, and I'd come out a lot faster and harder.
Do you think that there's still a wind sitting out there? Currently, your leader's at a 2.99 and a 10. Do you think somebody can make a full pull?
There's some good tractors left, and I think you'll see a full pull tonight.
Well, the defending national champion, he's at number 2 right now. He's got to be tickled to death with that. But he knows over his shoulder there's some big bullets still to come in the competition.
Well, we are winding down in the competition. Coming to the line, John Fairbanks out of Fitchburg, Massachusetts. And, Army, if you were voting on a driver with a name for his tractor to win, this one could be it, Rat Poison.
Rat Poison means it's got to be powered by a Chevrolet. Again, the torque of the supercharged engine showing as the left front wheel not touching the ground at all. He hooks it again. This track looks to be developing some kind of problem for these drivers late in the field, Richard.
But what a great pull for John Fairbanks, 298 feet 4 inches. That'll put him in second place. Let's go down on the track with Army.
Well, a 298.9 shows the track is coming around real strong. Super run, you went real straight, and all of a sudden at the end it darted to the left on you. What caused that?
No idea. I think there's this soft spot in the track.
So a soft spot in the track has caused a little bit of a problem. If you had it to do over again, what would you do differently? Because it looked awfully good from down here.
I gave it too much gas down towards the end. It blew the tires away. I had it hooked good, then it blew the tires away.
So the shoulder's still biting Bowling Green. We're going back to the action.
So actually the problem he was talking about blowing the tires away. When he went down on the throttle, there was just no bite in the track, was there?
No, he broke traction, Richard. Exactly what the problem was.
And that brings to the line Chris Wall out of Alberton, Pennsylvania with Splash.
Flash showing some of that 160-mile-an-hour wheel speed. Look at those fenders, Richard.
They are vibrating, shaking him also. Chris Wall, not with a great pull, but one the fans are going to enjoy just from the activity surrounding it. 245 feet, 11 inches for Chris Wall. We'll be back with more activity in a moment. In Bowling Green, Ohio, the National Tractor Pulling Championships, the mini-powered rods on the track. And, Army, we are down to the final 3, and one of those is a good one. Scott Amy out of Temperance, Michigan, in the Michigan Twister.
Everybody's keeping an eye on Scott. They know this kid can put it together. Takes his time, builds heat in the engine. Sounds awfully good. He's got some good ground speed right away. The Michigan Twister looks strong. Front end up. He makes the driver. Now, right there, he corrected a move. He powered through a soft spot that had been developing in the track. And, Richard, I believe we have our first full pull of the evening.
Scott Amy has given the crowd here in Bowling Green what they wanted, a full pull, the first one of the night. Let's go trackside. Army Armstrong's got your leader.
Scott Amy takes the Michigan Twister to the number 1 spot. The first official full pull this evening. First of all, congratulations to you. Do you think there's anybody back behind you that can do the same thing?
I'll tell you never can tell in this mini ride class. It's a different story, a different tractor every time. So if you get squirrely or you go straight, that makes the difference.
Well, congratulations to you. We know you're anxious to get back and watch the rest of the class. Man out of Michigan's your current leader. Again, they keep bumping them around. They keep going after each other in Bowling Green, Ohio on the Red Man Tour.
So now, Army, we are down to the final 2, and one of these is a dandy of a lady, Belle Blosser out of Stanley, Virginia, and the Hillbilly Shaker.
The Hillbilly Shaker, intelligence got to be powered by Chevrolet. The nickname Shaker comes from the Chevrolet, but all the people know a full pull's possible. They'd love to see this young lady get up into the pull-off. She has a good run going, starting to bobble back and forth just a little bit. She say, oh, she's in trouble, immediately back in the throttle, but she had to drive it out, Richard. It's going to cost her.
Belle Blosser could have used a lot of those people down on the track helping push her. Only 225 feet as we go to Army Armstrong.
First of all, I want to congratulate you on a good run. What in the world is a young lady like you doing in this sport?
I love it.
Are you competitive on the national circuit? You made an awfully good run just a moment ago.
Yes, sir. We run Grand National TNT.
So Belle couldn't do it. That means your leader, Scott Amy, only has one more nail-biting session to go through. And that's the one involving this gentleman, Russell Korf, out of Evansville, Indiana, driving the Gambler. He's our final competitor, and he's got to have a full pull to win it.
The pressure definitely goes on him, but he has a little bit of an advantage, that being he has had an opportunity, Richard, to watch the rest of the drivers. He backs up, raises his hands, indicating he will not move till told to do so. The track crew brings him forward. The final shot's ready to go. Who will be the next national champion? We're going to find out in just a moment as Amy waits patiently on the end of the track. A full pull. Can the Evansville native do it? We're going to have to wait and see.
Army, it looks like he's got good ground speed as he heads down this track in Bowling Green.
Ground speed is there. The gamer looking awfully strong. Chevrolet making a lot of horsepower, but I don't believe he's going to do it. Richard Leak, we have a new national champion in this class.
Russell Korf shuts it down after a pull of 244 feet and 3 inches. That means your national champion is going to be Scott Amy out of Temperance, Michigan. When we come back, we're going to talk to Scott, and we're going to look at your top 5 in the final point standings and preview that full pull distance that took the win. The first of many championships still to be crowned here in Bowling Green. Back in Bowling Green, Ohio, where the moon is shining brightly on your new national champion in this mini-powered rod competition, the honor goes to Scott Amy out of Temperance, Michigan. He was the only driver tonight to carry off a full pull on this track. Army Armstrong has your new national champion trackside now. Here's Army with Scott Amy, the national champion.
Down from Michigan, Scott Amy holds off a tremendous field of power rods this evening. I tell you what, everybody in this sport that was bad showed up here tonight, but you came out on top of it. What was your secret?
I don't want to divulge any secrets. That might give away a little secret of my own. I'll just say that anytime you come out on top of a class this big and this strong, you can feel really good about it, I'll say that.
Well, Scott Amy has every right to really feel good because this was the only full pull of the night, Army.
You know, he had the weight set perfect. There's a little bit of a soft spot developing in the track, but he's powered right through it, Richard.
Some of the other drivers having trouble with that soft spot, but not Scott Amy, as the crowd went crazy in Bowling Green over his winning pull, which was the only full pull in this mini-powered rod competition. As we run down your final top 5, in 5th place tonight, Roger Weissong. Coming in 4th, your defending national champion, Glenn Gunther. John Fairbanks took 3rd. Stevens Doherty 2nd. Your national champion, Scott Amy. Along with Army Armstrong, I'm Richard Leak saying we've had a great time in Bowling Green for this mini-powered rod championship. We'll be back here with more championships to be crowned in the days ahead. And we'll see you on the tracks across America for Redman TNT Motorsports.